Meeks is throwing this party? He asks. The one and only. He rolls a keg over to the back door. The student government nerd? Along with his boyfriend Alex. Lucas shakes his head. Those two always stressed me out. What's so stressful about two well-adjusted gay boys who have their lives perfectly planned out right down to what flowers will be at their wedding? He laughs, leaning against the keg with his feet crossed at the ankle.
Okay. Need to get a bit of clothing. Now that it's snowy on my island. My, little dirndl outfits and my socks, they're not really working for me, so I need to really gear up properly, like that. Oh yeah, I'm looking for a parka. Ooh, what is this? Steampunk dress. Well, that's fucking cool. Look at this. Wrestler outfit. To be honest, that's not really what I came for. Like, I like the steampunk dress, but this is more like what I've come for. How about this? Yeah, that's more what we're looking for. It's a bit weird with my hair. Yeah, okay. And then, snow is bright. Need a bit of sunglasses, like those ones. Jesus, that's a nightmare. That's what we need. Okay, and then we need, proper boots. Boots. Ooh, hiking boots. Yeah, that'll do me. Now I'm ready for shit. Let's go. Guys, I have book recommendations for the readathon, for the January readathon. Okay, recap for readathon. Now that's what I call summer readathon. And in the 9 squares or whatever, there's 4 things just to do, and 5 of the squares are actually book prompts. So if you're down and you want to hang out with us in January, but you can't quite think of like various ones that are good for like a certain prompt or whatever, I'm hopefully here to help. Like some of the books, like some of the categories I found hard, but I think in the end I've come up with like 5 or 6 for each one. And I don't want it to take ages. Like I don't want this to like be the world's longest video. So I'm going to go through them quick. If you have any like questions or anything about ones you're trying to like decide a bit further, need more information, let me know and I will like come at you with more info. Also, if like you have a specific question about like certain books or whatever, hit me, okay? Like I don't think this is going to be like, like super intense. Like it's January. It's disgusting. It's me and Karen. We're like doing it. Like if you want to try to squeeze your book that doesn't really fit into one of the categories, like why not? Life is too hard to have rules. Like, Outlander, surely that's a puzzle. She ended up in the 18th century. How the hell did that happen? She spends a whole book trying to figure it out. Like that fits, I reckon. Also, it does partially take place in summer. This is probably fine. Anyway, but I've got a couple anyway. Okay, first, book you wanted to read as a kid but didn't get to it. So this is going to be obviously super personal to you, okay? But I thought, like, what are some books that were around, like launched 80s, 90s-ish, and were, on people's radars in school and stuff? Maybe one of these sort of hit you. Howl's Moving Castle, Diana Wynne Jones. Amazing. Okay, as a wizard, he has a magical house, he flies around. Turns out he's just escaped from his super mundane life in Wales. Okay. Second one, Angus, Thongs, and Full-frontal Snogging by George Nicholson. I read this when I was a kid, American, about like probably 13, 14. And it's this British girl. So first of all, that was amazing for me. And she's just sort of like trying to navigate becoming a teenager and like going into relationships and stuff, like watching other people make out, like having crushes on kids. Like it was cute. Next one, Island of the Blue Dolphins by Scott O'Dell. So this one is like based on a true story. This actually happened in the 19th century. There was this tribe of sort of native people on an island off California, and I think they were like evacuated or like moved off the island by the US government or whatever, moved to California. But somehow she missed the boat and she was left on her island by herself with nobody, and no one came back for her or anything like that. So she just lived for years as a teenager on her own on this island. And like there were dangers and she had to like come up with food, she had to come up with shelter. Like she domesticated a wolf so she'd have a friend. And then in real life, in real life, I think she was actually eventually evacuated back to California, but it had been years and years and years. And so she didn't get on well. I think she died quite soon after because it was such a shock, like such a difference. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark by Alvin Schwartz. So I read this when I was a kid, and I feel like everyone read this when I was a kid. It's like a bunch of stories that are like creepy stories that you're like supposed to tell each other at sleepovers. And I specifically remember this one with a girl. She's got like a bow wrapped around her neck, and then she pulls the bow off and her head falls off. Like, that's not really a spoiler. I feel like everyone knows that story. But it's like a bunch of stories like that, and it was fab. Okay, and the last one on here, it's a bit of a weird one, but I'm going to go with Ruby by V.C. Andrews. So I only just recently read this one for like Bert's 90s book club, right? But it is like one of these ones, like these V.C. Andrews type ones, like, you know, Flowers in the Attic and stuff, where when you're a kid, you see them and teenagers are reading them and like whispering about them in dark corners, you know, and you're like, I kind of want to be in that club. I want to like know what's in that, you know? So maybe the V.C. Andrews vibe sort of hit you when you were a kid. Okay, next category. I got book about cool teens, okay? First of all, The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. This is the ultimate book about cool teens. It's like a bit West Side Story, you know, like the two gangs like fighting each other. You got like the Sos, you know, you got like Pony Boy, and like they're always battling. And I read this when I was in the 7th grade, and it changed my life. But I recently like got my friend onto it who's from Syria, so she'd never read it before, and she was like, oh my god, it's so amazing. I'm like, I know. Okay, next one I've got Chosen Ones by Veronica Roth. So this one is about a bunch of teens who are like chosen by fate to fight this like evil guy and save the world, and they've done that and it's over, and now they're like haunted as older people because they were like these teens that fought this thing, and now like the evil's coming back or something like that. Like, it was good. I enjoyed it. Like, it's really thick, mind, so keep that in mind. But I think I might have done the audiobook as well, which was good. Okay, next one, My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. Amazing! Love this one. It's pretty obvious. Like, these two kids are like best friends, and they've got like a group of friends. They go into the woods. One of them disappears for ages, and they can't figure out where she went to. And they find her again, and now she's weird. She's like, where'd all her clothes go? Why is she covered in mud? Why is she saying crazy stuff? Turns out she's possessed. The whole thing is amazing. Like, it's really 80s nostalgia as well. Fantastic. Next one, Magic for Liars by Sarah Gailey. Loads of people said that this one they didn't get on with, but I absolutely loved it. So, I don't know, maybe I'm a bit damaged, but it's about a magic school, which, you know, if you're over that trope, I understand. But it's this girl whose sister is magical, and she's not. Like, you know, the magic came to the sister, but didn't come to her, so she had to go to like a normal school while her like sister went to like the magic school, you know? And she gets a phone call from like the dean of this magic school where her sister works, and she's like, we've had a death and we want you to investigate, because she's like a PI, you know, and she's like weirdly interested in it. She's like, but I'm not magical, and the dean's like, that's fine, like, we need your skills, you know, blah blah blah, your closeness to the situation. So she goes and investigates a murder in this like magic school, which was good. With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. So this one was super good. It's like a Latina girl. She's like in high school, and she gets pregnant really early on, and she has a kid in high school. But she's a really good chef, you know, and she's got all these dreams about becoming a chef, and she's determined to like make her chef dreams a reality, you know, despite sort of being set back by having her kid or whatever. And she has like a really good relationship with like her kid and her grandma, and it's really cute, and she's got friends that are cute. Anyway, last one, Looking for Alaska by John Green. Okay, like, Alaska's like the ultimate cool teen in this book. Like, she's sexy, she's funny, she's so like, you know, impulsive. Like, everyone wants to be her and everyone wants to date her, and then she dies, which is a bummer. And then these other teens at the school have to sort of figure out what happened to her, like why she died, or like put the clues together to sort of figure out what happened right before her death. Okay, next category, book that takes place in summer. Okay, first one, Ghost Wall by Sarah Moss. I loved this one, and it's a novella, so that'll be really good if you're like looking to, you know, get a short one. It's this girl in Britain whose dad is like really Britain first, and like he's like gross in this way of like, he doesn't like immigrants, you know. He's like, oh, Britain's like, you know, strong, and like the native people of Britain are strong, blah blah. And he goes on, he like makes his kid and his wife come on this like summer trip where they go and live like people did in like the Iron Age or whatever, like Iron Age Britons. And and they have this thing where they're trying to do all the things that they did, and some of them are like vaguely sacrificial rituals and stuff where they may or may not get a bit carried away. I just really enjoyed it. Okay, next one, Diamond Star Halo by Tiffany Murray. I read this when I first moved to Wales, like it takes place in Wales, and I was absolutely like intrigued by everything Welsh. So it's like this farm in the 70s in rural Wales where loads of like rock stars and hippies and stuff come there to make music. So there's this place where Led Zeppelin went to like in the 70s in Wales called like Bron or something. I think it's like Jimmy Page's like ancestral home or something like that. And they made loads of music there, and like there are songs on their album like called Bron and stuff like that. And it's a bit like that, like 1970s rock style, like rural Wales. And there's a kid named Halo, and a girl comes as part of a band or like a groupie or whatever, and she's pregnant, and she gives birth at the farm and then dies. So then that kid, Fred, the family adopts Fred, and then you sort of like see Fred grow up and everything, and it's cool. Next one, Water Shall Refuse Them by Lucy McKnight Hardy. So this one also takes place in the 70s in Wales, and it's like sort of creepy, sort of folk horror. It's like witchcraft and stuff like this. So this family, these parents and this kid, moved to rural Wales after like one of the kids, like the sister, died, and they're like escaping grief or whatever. But the other kid is like sort of vaguely into witchcraft and like talismans and things. And then she meets this other kid in Wales while they're there who's also into witchcraft, and it's like creepy and spooky and a bit, I don't know, yeah, folk horror. Next one, Be Prepared by Vera Brosgol. So this is a graphic novel, so this would also work for the graphic novel thing, but it's this kid who goes to summer camp, but it's Russian summer camp. So her mother is from Russia, and her mother moved to America when this girl was really young. So she speaks Russian and she's American and everything. And her mother sends her to this Russian summer camp where she has to speak Russian and she has to do Russian stuff. Like it's just a bunch of like Russian, like immigrant kids basically. And it's hilarious because she's a super nerd. She doesn't fit in anywhere. Like everything she does is super weird. But it's really cute. Like it's like really cute sort of like summer camp feel, and it's funny. And anyway, next one, Lumberjanes by like Stevenson and something. Like I'll put it up. There's like a series of graphic novel like comic type things, and it's about these like kids at a summer camp, but there's like supernatural stuff happening all the time, and they've always got to like battle evil or do something, and it's really funny, and like the art is a bit funky and weird. Next category. God, this is gonna be a very long video. I apologize for this. I just want to make sure you have like enough things, you know, in case you're stuck. Okay. Book with a puzzle or a hidden object. So this one was the hardest one for me because I don't really read this sort of thing, and also I didn't really read it as a kid, but I think Karen, this is her favorite one. So if you're like stuck a bit too much like on this category, check with Karen because she's going to be like the person who knows. But anyway, I did find like a couple. First one being Lost Book of the Grail by Charlie Lovett. Woo, I loved this one. So it's this guy, he's super weird, like he's an English professor, and he's obsessed with this cathedral in his town. It's like an old sort of medieval cathedral, and he's working on this like unpaid like master project of like a guidebook to the cathedral. So he's always like in the library like researching this cathedral, and he's like in love with it, and he doesn't really do anything else besides be an English professor and sit in the library in the cathedral. But this American girl comes and also wants to like use the library and stuff, and he's like clashes with her. He's like, get out of my space. But then eventually they're like together and they're cool. And they're working towards solving this mystery of where is this like ancient text or this like medieval text about, or like written by a saint in the area, and it's supposed to be like hidden somewhere in the cathedral or hidden somewhere in the town, and it's like it becomes super important for like the fate of the cathedral or something like that, and they have to sort of find it together. Next one, Paper Towns by John Green. I feel like loads of people are hating on this book, and that's fine, but I personally enjoyed it. It's about this really cool girl in high school and this kid who's like obsessed with that girl, and she sort of like jumps into his life really fast. It has like an amazing night with him. They do crazy stuff. They have like the greatest laugh or whatever, but then in school the next day she's not there. She's like disappeared, and he has to sort of go looking for her, and like with a bunch of clues that she's left him to find her. Next one, From the Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Basil E. Frankweiler by E.L. Konigsburg. My mom read this to me when I was a kid at bedtime, and I can remember and love it because it's about these kids who run away from home and move into a museum secretly. Like, that's my life. That's my goal. And there's like a sculpture that's donated, or like a piece of art that's donated to the museum by like a mysterious woman. And the kids want to sort of solve the mystery, but also while making sure that the museum people don't know that they're living there. And then they like eventually meet her and blah, blah, blah. So that one's cute. Second one, or the next one, Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. So Ready Player Two, the one that just came out, was absolute crap, and I DNF'd it because it's just basically the same book but not as good. But the first one, Ready Player One, was super good. So it's like in a dystopian sort of world where everything is really crap in the physical world. So everyone goes instead into this sort of virtual world, like an online world. It's like a gameplay thing, but it's really realistic. Like, you put on the suit, like the head, the glasses, the hands and everything, and like you get like a treadmill and you can like move through the game and stuff, and people prefer to live in this virtual world because the physical world is so shit. But it was invented by this guy who grew up in the 80s, and he's like obsessed with 80s nostalgia, and he hides Easter eggs in the game for when he dies, so that when he does die, it'll launch like this hunt. Like, you follow the clues and you sort of like follow like 80s nostalgia things to this Easter egg when you'll become like a millionaire and you'll be in charge of the game and stuff like that. And then last one, The Westing Game by Ellen Raskin. So this is like a kid's book from the 70s, but it's not bad. It's super good. It's like a bunch of people, like a bunch of like different kinds of like varied people are called together into this old like creepy house to hear the will of this guy like read out. This old guy who owns the house. He's like a puzzling sort of guy, and he likes games and puzzles and stuff like that. So his last thing that he does for his will, he creates a game for people who come to read his will or have his will read. So they're sort of locked in the house, and they have like a puzzle that they have to solve, and the first person to solve it, like, I think gets his inheritance or something like this. Like, I can't quite remember, but I remember it being really cute, and it's got like a puzzle. Okay, last category, graphic novels. So I've got loads of graphic novels in my mind that are really amazing, like Beautiful Darkness, super creepy, right? It's like these little people that live inside this little girl, and they're like sweet and nice and lovely, but then she dies in the woods, and they have to get out of her body and then into the woods, and they go really quickly from the sweetest little beings to like cutthroat, like murderous sort of things. Next one, A Gigantic Beard That Was Evil. This guy has a beard, and it starts growing, and like taking over his village. But it's more about like everyone in the village is really like black and white, like this is how we do things, this is a straight line, this is like, but we always do this on Sunday, and like they fear things they can't know, you know. So this beard, it's like changing them, you know, like pushing them out of their comfort zones and like teaching them that there are other things, and you don't have to be afraid of things you don't understand and stuff like that. Anyway, it's really good. Queen of the Sea, which is for kids, but it's about like this island of nuns, this like church island where they're secluded, and there's a kid who lives there, and she's like the only kid that lives there, and she's like, I don't know why I live here, because I'm a kid. And they tell her that she washed up on the shore, like her parents had a shipwreck and she just washed up, and they were just like, oh, we'll take you in. But it turns out that's not the reason, and she finds out the real reason when they get an exiled queen to stay with them. Like, the queen was overturned by another like monarchy or whatever, and that queen was then forced to be in exile on this island, and then loads of things come to light about why that girl is there. Penny Nichols, this one was really good. It's about this like really caustic, sarcastic girl who hates her job and everything, and like bumps into a bunch of people who love to make like B-reel movies, you know, like really crappy underpaid movies, amateur ones, and she like joins their cast and like helps them to make the movie, and it's really good. Apocalypse Taco is about this drama squad in high school who go for tacos and find that it's been taken over by this like evil monster. The Prince and the Dressmaker is really like cute. It's about this prince who like loves to wear dresses, and he hires this girl to make lovely, beautiful dresses for him, so that he can go out and pretend to be a woman, because he doesn't want people to know that he's a prince and he's a boy, but he likes to wear dresses, you know, like, and she's sort of in on the secret and sort of helps him, you know, to look really girly and stuff like this, and it's just cute. I like it. Okay, Persepolis, which is like a graphic memoir about this girl who lived in Iran when the Shah was overthrown, and then everything changed really quickly, and she then moved to Europe but had to move by herself, and it's just a really interesting sort of memoir. It's like black and white art as well, and it's just really stark and like gorgeous. And then I'm gonna go with pumpkin heads for the end of it. It's really autumny and cute. It's like these teenagers who work in this like corn maze slash pumpkin farm thing, and everyone goes there for Halloween, and it's like their last night working there, and their friends and they sort of like get up to trouble like in this thing, in this like corn maze and everything. Okay, I feel like that took absolutely ages, and I apologize, but I hope something in there you find something that you like. If you have any comments about, you know, like those, like ones you liked, ones you didn't like, other ones that fit in those categories might be good, just let me know in a comment below. Okay, that's the end. I promise. That's over. Okay, little book haul, no big deal. The book ban starts in January anyway, so it's nothing to worry about. Like, I didn't mean to go to the bookstore and get books, but I had to go out for soda and, oh fuck, salsa. Oh fuck. I went out for 2 things. Oh my god, I didn't get any of them, I just got books. Anyway, I got really good books. So I got Wheel of Time, the first book, finally, right? It's been on the Great American Reads list since that happened like 4 years ago, and I've wanted to read it since then. And now it's like a show, isn't it? Like it's like an Amazon Prime show or something. Like I haven't seen it, but I want to get to it. So first book I got of that, I think there's like 15 books. It's ridiculous, and I think they're all in that tiny bookshop that I was in. Like apparently there are a lot of Wheel of Time fans around Roth way. And then also I got this book, 100 Weird Creatures from Around the World. It's just basically different cultures globally and their creepy monsters. Like this is like a weird Russian bird woman monster, like a drop bear. It's a weird kind of creepy creature in Australia, you know. Like I got this for the spud, obviously. Ooh, this one looks creepy. I just passed it. Ooh, this is Irish, the Headless Horseman. Look how creepy that is. I obviously got this for the spud because she loves to just like browse books like this. And also when she's a bit older, she can like read them properly, you know, when she's got a hang of her English. her English reading isn't so good at the minute. Like look at this one. Mongolian Deathworm. But I'm obviously also gonna read this book. Like I'm not gonna lie to you, I have nothing to hide. I can't hide anything from you guys. I got it because I want to read it as well. Shitting hell. Look at this creepy like Chinese zombie dude. Okay, update about Pumpkin, which is going really well. I'm like more than halfway through it now because I'm just flying through it. It's really good, and I think it's quite small as well, so that helps. But I think I'm going to go back. I think this is officially the 3rd one in the series, and I've just jumped to it because it looked the most interesting. And I think they are standalone, so I don't need to read the other 2, but it's pretty good, so I think I'm going to do that. It's Dumpling and something else, and then this one, Pumpkin. And the characters are really cute. It's this guy, he's got red hair and he's gay, and he's got a twin sister who's also redheaded and gay. And like they're really cute together, and the sister now has sort of like dropped a bombshell on him that they're planning to go to college together. Like she's not down, like she's gonna go to a real college, like a proper one, like, you know, and get an engineering degree because she's brainy and like really good at school, and he's like really crap, and he's a bit pissed off about that, but they're quite close, so it's sort of okay. And they've just gone together for their very first drag show gay bar experience, and it's blown their minds. But like the sort of main thing of the book is that both his sister's girlfriend and him were nominated for like prom court, you know, like prom king, prom queen, like that. But they were nominated in like the different category, or like he was nominated for prom queen. She was nominated for prom king, and they decided to keep it going. Like, they think it was probably meant to be a cruel joke, you know, but like they're down. They're still gonna do it, so they're like going for prom king and prom queen and stuff. I'm really liking it. I think it's really cute. So maybe I'll finish it today. Actually, you made it at school.
Yeah. And here's my face on the bench.
Okay.
Hanging up. You hang it up the tree.
Wow! Are you gonna put it on the tree?
This is Anwen card.
Oh no! Is this people's cards?
This is Anwen.
Is this cards to you from other kids? Oh damn it!
What?
We've missed it again. Do you remember last year? Do you remember last year when you got all these cards and I thought, oh, were we supposed to bring in cards for kids? And we didn't. And I thought it was going to be the Christmas party. This isn't the Christmas party. Where did all these come from? How do people know to send them in before the Christmas party? That's another mom fail. That's 2 years in a row. That same mom fail 2 years in a row.
Can we open it?
Yeah, open those, monkey. Have a go. Whoa, it's like a kraken. It's like a sea monster.
Yeah. And look at that. It's a talk fire.
He's cute, huh? Whoa.
Whoa.
Whoa, that one looks weird. It looks like a sort of snowman.
It's massive. Whoa. It looks like ears. And a face.
I reckon this guy's wife.
And a hawk.
This guy still doesn't hear his wife when she says to do the dishes.
Why?
Even though his ears are huge.
Why?
Dunno. It's just a theory I have.
Whoa.